Right, well, thanks for joining me on this tour, but before I start, just a word of warning. You may hear a whirring sound as I cycle along. That's because I'm on my M6L, which has a switch kit fitted. I will also make an apology. You may see me without a cycle helmet. I'm sorry, I usually wear one. In all the hubbub this morning, I didn't pack it. So here I am. Anyway, welcome to my hometown of Shrewsbury. You may know it is a small medieval market town and it sits within the loop of the River Severn. There's a number of bridges that we use. This morning we're entering the town via the Welsh Bridge. This is a bridge that's been here for about 230 years so far. I would normally turn left into the town. However, today I want to turn right and show you our local park, which we actually call the Quarry, which confuses some people. It's a place used by dog walkers, joggers, good grief, all sorts of people for their own extracurricular activity. But it's also used to host a number of events. At the moment, they're setting up tents for the very famous annual flower show that's going to take place this month. Now, I hope you agree, it's a beautiful place. And as we climb up towards the top of the quarry, you can see the spire of St Chad's Church in the distance. Now, we do have a number of churches within the town centre, but St Chad's is quite unique in as much as it has a circular nave. And where we have churches, we tend to have pubs to satisfy the pilgrims. Now, there may not be too many pilgrims around these days, but we still like to keep a quota of good pubs. In fact, Shrewsbury has 56 or 58 to boast about. Shrewsbury is also the birthplace of Charles Darwin, something you'll see reference to quite a bit. Right, come on, let's take a look around this town. But in fact, before we do, let's take a look at the instruction on the Welsh Bridge so we understand the rules. Here we go. Commit no nuisance. Originally, this was a warning to the townsfolk, advising them not to urinate in the street. Therefore, I hope you've been to the toilet before we start. Come on then, let's go. Right, immediately to our left you'll see a sculpture that's named Quantum Leap. As I understand it, it refers to the origin of the species. Rather significant piece of research that Mr. Darwin did, and it's supposed to represent the bones of a dinosaur or something very similar. Now, although this is a market town, don't be fooled into thinking it's this quiet all the time. If you'd seen my New York vlog, you would know that I'm not a good sleeper. I'm an early riser. And at the moment, it's just gone 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Fortunately for us, it's a time when the sun is coming up, so it's absolutely gorgeous. And as we round the corner, we come across Shrewsbury Castle and Shrewsbury Railway Station. There we go, Shrewsbury Railway Station. Now, this has been here since the end of the 1800s, I believe. Closed at the moment because it's so early. You'll see platform 3 on this side. Not many platforms, it's actually got 5 platforms. This was once called Shrewsbury General because it wasn't the only train station here. We might see the other one later on. There we go, Shrewsbury Castle in the distance. Red sandstone. Most of the buildings built out of red sandstone around here, which we get locally. Used to be shipped down on the river from Grinshill. Beautiful building, built around 1070, as most of the castles were in Great Britain, due to William the Conqueror. And you'll also see a lot of black and white buildings around here as well, Tudor buildings. So as we cycle towards the town centre, we pass Shrewsbury Library on the right hand side before we turn left into Castle Gates. As the name would suggest, this is the entrance to the castle and a place where you'll find local and international artwork and sculptures exhibited. These days the castle is used as a local museum, but the grounds are often used to host plays and events of various types. You may also see a statue of Darwin seated at the entrance. This was due to the fact that the library was once a school where Darwin was a pupil. Right, let's make our way towards St Mary's Street. In fact, let's pop down here and I'll show you Purchase House. This was one of the main filming locations for A Christmas Carol that was filmed a number of years ago. I remember I was a teenager at the time, so we would hang around and watch the filming, watch them spraying the fake snow around. This particular building, I believe, was where Jacob Marley was supposed to work. There are a number of other locations around the town where they filmed. Right, we're going to make our way around to St Mary's Church. Okay, we're just passing St Mary's, a church that has one of the tallest spires in Great Britain. In fact, I think there's a plaque on the wall there. In the 1700s, there was a local chap who decided he was going to extend a steel rope from the top of that spire down to the other side of the river, which has to be 500 yards. Sadly, he didn't make it. Let's have a look, see if we've got his name. Ah, there we go. At least he's not forgotten. Now, being an old medieval town, there are lots of little shuts and alleys around. There's also a number of very strange names for roads. We're currently going down Dogpole and we're headed towards Wild Cop. You may have noticed we've passed a number of pubs, as mentioned, quite a few that are in the loop. One of the most interesting being Henry Tudor there on my right. But we'll mention that at a later date. Now we come back out to the loop of the river, and on the opposite side of the town we have a bridge known as the English Bridge. And we head towards Shrewsbury Abbey. This is the Abbey, but to give it full title, the Abbey Church of the Holy Cross. Now this has been here since 1083. Again, built right at the time of William the Conqueror. It used to be a monastery, and it was actually named in a TV programme called the Cadfael Chronicles. I don't know if anybody's heard of Brother Cadfael. He was a fictional character, supposed to be a bit of a detective and a monk. Very strange concept. We'll have a quick ride around the Abbey Loop, then I'll take you to the site of the other train station that I mentioned earlier. Here we go, as promised, Abbey Station. This was here at the turn of the last century, so early part of the 1900s. Not open for long actually. In fact, it wasn't called the Abbey Station. I believe it was called Abbey Foregate Platform. Now it would appear to be a visitor centre, which I'm quite embarrassed to say I've never been to. Right, let's get going back over that English bridge and back into the town centre. We're now heading towards town walls. This was a defensive structure that was built a couple hundred years ago. Oddly, a couple hundred years after the castle was built, which is a bit strange. I believe the original intentions of the castle actually was to prevent the Welsh from invading and razing our buildings to the ground with fire. I'm not entirely sure how successful it was. I should say that wasn't a technique used solely by the Welsh, because I think we were equally to blame, as they have similar walls built in Shrewsbury, which is just on the Welsh border. If you continue to the end of these walls, actually, you will see another tower. It's the only watchtower that we still got in place. It's called Wingfield Tower actually, but it's really called that these days. I think it's just called Town Walls Tower or something similar. I didn't plan on venturing that far, but come on, let's go and have a look. So here we have it, Town Walls Tower, originally named Wingfield Tower. I don't think many people refer to it as that these days, but now owned by the National Trust. So either get yourself a membership or go with somebody who's got one. Having said that, it's not open that often. Anyway, now we're here, we may as well make our way towards Fish Street via College Hill. Let's go and take a look. I should point out that just before we take off from here, this is all Shrewsbury High School for girls. These buildings that are immediately adjacent to Town Walls Tower. But anyway, let's go and take a look. And I think we'll go and take a turn up Swan Hill. I would say a lovely part of Shrewsbury, but so many areas around here are absolutely gorgeous, lovely buildings. As I've referred to before, Tudor buildings, you'll see one coming up on the left here, just as we approach the Coach and Horses public house. Very nice pub. Beyond the Coach and Horses we have the old police station. Not that I ever recall it being there, it's an estate agent's name. Next door to that we have the Admiral Benbow, named after John Benbow, who was a famous admiral in the Navy, born in the late 1600s I believe. had a bit of beef with the French and the Spanish, as you'd expect around those times. Born in nearby Coton Hill. Right, we're making our way to College Hill here, and we have St Winifred's. In fact, let's take a look at that. Right, we have St Winifred's Convent. This is a school which was founded by the Sisters of Mercy around late 1800s. It's a school now, but you'll still see the sisters wandering around these parts occasionally. I've got to say, a little bit spooky, but then it is a bit of a spooky area. In fact, let me show you this church a little bit closer up. You may have recalled St Chad's earlier. That was a church with a circular nave. Well, this church is also St Chad's. However, we refer to this one as Old St Chad's. As I say, a bit of a spooky old area at night. There have been claims of ghostly figures around this area, including the sightings of monks that once occupied this church. Ergo, you can see why I'm a little bit spooked when I see a nun or two. Anyway, let's leave these workmen to it, and we'll make our way towards the bare steps. And you'll actually see ahead of us there a bit of a clue that we're in a medieval market town as we enter Milk Street and head towards Fish Street. See another church ahead of us, St Julian's, although it's largely a craft centre these days. We'll try and navigate up the quieter part of this street, a little bit less cobbled as we make our way towards bare steps. Passing St Altman's Church on the right hand side. Good grief, these will kill me honestly. Right, here we go, bare steps. Now, local history will have it that this was called Bare Steps because there used to be a bear chained up here that would dance for the public. Not a very nice thought, but there could have been some credence in that. The reason being, we had a local MP called Mad Jack Mitten. Now, he was famous because he spent millions. Some would say wasted, I doubt he would. However, he was also known for wrestling bears and even riding a bear into a local pub. So there could have been some truth in it. And they say this was the ring where the bear was chained up. Okay, so that was Fish Street. I'm going to push out of here, I think. These cobbles will kill me. But I just wanted to take you to another street, and you may notice a bit of a pattern. There we go. This neighbouring street is known as Butcher Row. Again, clues in the title. I think what I'm going to do is loop round, back down Dogpole, up, and see if I can get onto the high street. Now these little alleyways and pubs, look how shaky I am. Ugh. Look even better at night time, particularly around the Christmas period. See if I can find a bit of footage to add to the vlog. There is so much that I could cover on this little trip. What I will say is, if you do want more, let me know. Because at the moment, because I'm running out of battery time, I think I'm going to have to call it a day very shortly. Whoa. See what I mean? These cobbles are really unforgiving. Jeez, not very good for camera work. Let's get a bit of speed up down here. as we make our way back around the loop and back towards the Welsh Bridge, which I'm going to cross, and I'd better make my way home. The reason being, I don't doubt my wife will be awake shortly. And she's going to wonder where I am. So if you like this vlog, give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, share it with your friends, and comment below. Do you want to see more of my hometown? Because I'm happy to show you. Take care.